Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip? Try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
No one is going to pick Indiana. No one's going to pick Indiana to make it close, honestly. Like, you could get tremendous odds if you pick OKC in 7.
I think that taking the series over 5.5 games, the last 2 NBA Finals series ended in 5. I think this one goes 6. I think the Thunder will get the job done, but I think the Pacers are just too strong of a team and too talented of a team and too deep of a team to lose in 5 or fewer games.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
The Steelers' interest in Aaron Rodgers as a joke. Your boy went off about the entire situation and why it taken so long to forget him. Terry Bradshaw getting involved.
Yeah, insane. Basically, what are you bringing him in for 1 year? All of this drama for 1 year at this guy, where he is now in his career is he's washed.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays.
Yes, it's a Wednesday morning time to rise and grind with us on the SportsGrid Network. It is the early line. Your boy Donnie Rightside here. Ben Stevens will be joining us momentarily. And away we go on a 3-hour tour, bringing you all the hottest topics here and maybe the hottest weather, because it looks like the things are starting to flip here in the weather conditions here in the Northeast and across Major League Baseball. And the runs, they are piling up. But let me understand this. Finally, it is a Wednesday. A championship round is going to get underway in the NHL. And that's between the Florida Panthers and the Edmonton Oilers, as we talked about all week. A slight favorite in the series toward Edmonton and a slight favorite tonight towards Edmonton as well on the money line. How about the NBA? Well, you're going to have to wait one more day between the Oklahoma City Thunder facing off against the Indiana Pacers in OKC. And the question's all abound for us. Are the people going to watch? Are we going to tune in? Is it going to be an exciting series? We'll certainly find that out. And we're hoping that it's going to be competitive and at least go over 6 games. But let's get to the hottest topics across the sports landscape, which include yesterday. Were you shocked as much as I was that the New York Knicks have fired head coach Tom Thibodeau? Interesting news as you see the tweet up there from Shams Charania. The New York Knicks are relieving Tom Thibodeau of his duties as head coach. Sources tell ESPN Thibodeau led the Knicks to their first Eastern Conference Finals in 25 years, made the playoffs in 4 or 5 years, and led the Knicks to consecutive 50-plus win seasons for the first time since the 1990s. You know what's interesting about that, too, is you take a look and say, I thought Thibodeau had a really good chance of getting fired if the Knicks had lost in 5 games at home. They played well in game 5. They forced a game number 6. So you're saying to yourself, yes, they did get some breaks, and yes, things fell right for them, where Jason Tatum gets injured at the end of game 4, which they're already up 3-1 and easily dispatched of them. And then you were going to place in the Eastern Conference Finals, we all thought would be at least the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cavaliers didn't even make it there. So the Knicks were favored in that round for the Eastern Conference Finals of around a minus 150 price or so at the FanDuel Sportsbook to move forward and get to the NBA Finals, which again would be the Oklahoma City Thunder. They didn't make it that far, but I was pretty shocked. And also, when you take a look at that final post-game press conference for Jalen Brunson, who's the superstar of the Knicks and the leader of that team, he was quite flustered with a question that was asked from a reporter that's like, do you think Tom Thibodeau is the guy that's going to lead you into the future? Well, that answer now is a no, and Jalen Brunson said, are you kidding me? Of course he is going to be it. Now, understand this about the NBA, and we talk about, and I joke about it a lot. In professional sports, you are hired to be fired. That's just the way it is here. And it's the same thing in New York. It's the same thing in, let's just say, Los Angeles. If you don't win, the penultimate goal, which is, again, to win a championship or at least get to that championship round, there's a chance that you might be fired. But I still was shocked here. I thought there was a chance, as I said again, if they lost in 5 games at home in embarrassing fashion to the Indiana Pacers, that he would be fired. But since they won game number 5, I found it hard to find out who that's going to be. Now, also understand this. The Knicks now have to find a head coach. We'll talk about that a little bit later in the show, who that head coach and who the thought process is going to be on making that new head coach, because you're going to step into the spotlight there. But also understand this from a Tom Thibodeau perspective. He's been around the NBA for a long time. He's going to be a head coach in the NBA again. But imagine getting a check for over $30 million just to leave the Knicks. He did have success in his 5 years with the New York Knicks. Let's be honest, because the Knicks as a franchise, they're not built on winning championship after championship after championship. They actually had a little bit of success. And also understand this from a Knicks perspective. Going into next year, there's still going to be question marks on how good the Cleveland Cavaliers are. The 76ers are still trying to see if Joel Embiid actually has a healthy knee, along with Paul George and a couple draft picks, if they can turn the corner. Understand about the Boston Celtics. Tatum's probably not going to play for them next year. This is a big chance for the New York Knicks to take that next step, which includes not only getting to the championship game in the Eastern Conference Finals, but winning it and moving on. They just don't think Tom Thibodeau is actually the coach of their future, which certainly is interesting. We're going to talk about that, as I said, a little bit later in the show today. But Major League Baseball was great yesterday. For me personally, wasn't so great. Had a couple RBI props, cashed in one, lost a few, bounce back day today. But we have a good slate here. And as I started the show opening up, you know what's great here on the early line? Yes, it's early in the morning, but it's going to be nice temperatures today across Major League Baseball in a lot of spots. And last night, we did see a lot of runs, which included the Los Angeles Dodgers. How about this game? 5 total runs after the first inning, but the Dodgers had scored 4 of those. So they're up 4-1. We have to get to the 9th inning before they score again. And in the bottom of the 9th, they tack on a run, and in extra innings, score the game-winning run in the bottom of the 10th inning. Now, understand this, too, as you're looking at this game, saying, well, that means Clayton Kershaw was probably pretty good. He really wasn't, guys. 4 2/3 innings pitched, 6 hits given up, 5 earned runs. Now, granted, only 3 of those runs were earned, but only 2 strikeouts at this point. That's something that is troubling. We're looking for Clayton Kershaw to sort of have a bounce back here over the past couple weeks and maybe help out the Dodgers throughout the summer. It just hasn't looked that direction. Tyler McGill, 6 innings pitched, 4 hits, and 4 earned runs in that game. Solid bullpen all the way through. But the better bullpen last night was with the Los Angeles Dodgers. They pick up that victory and improve to 37-24 in the season, and the Mets drop to 38-23. And we take a look also at the Colorado Rockies. How about the Rockies, man? All of a sudden winning. Well, that's what happens when you play bad baseball teams like the Miami Marlins. And yesterday, the Marlins were staked to a 2-0 lead after the 3rd inning. Like, you know what? Run support's just not going to be there for the Rockies. Nothing they can do about it. Looks like they're going to lose. Nonsense. 3 runs scored by the Rockies, which included a home run in the 8th inning. And my goodness, how about my guy Hunter Goodwin out there? 277 with his batting average. Piped another home run after, I believe, having 2 solo home runs, or 2 home runs, I should say, the night before. The Colorado Rockies, who were once 9-50, woo! Doesn't look much better at 11-50 on the season right now. We take a look at the Houston Astros yesterday. Get used to this, Paul Skeens, and the jokes continue to write themselves here. Paul Skeens needs to throw an absolute shutout every game, it seems like, when he's on the mound. Why? They lost to the Houston Astros last night 3-0. Look at Paul Skeens' night last night. 8 innings pitched, 3 hits, only 1 earned run, 1 walk, and 8 strikeouts. The only run he gave up was a solo home run. His ERA on the season now, 2.05. His record on the season with the Pittsburgh Pirates, yeah, it's 4-6. Lance McCullers on the opposite side, as we talked about it yesterday, having some off-the-field issues there. They finally, caught the guy that was harassing his family, so now he can pitch with clear conscience on the mound, and boy, was he good. But isn't everybody good against the Pittsburgh Pirates when they're pitching? McCullers, 6 innings pitched yesterday, 2 hits, no earned runs, 7 strikeouts, only 1 walk. That lowers his ERA to 4.44. Maybe the Astros have something working there, waiting for Yordan Alvarez to get back into the lineup. Lance McCullers Jr. going to start to be a good starting pitcher like we thought he was going to be before all of the injuries. Maybe things are looking up. The above 500 Astros at 33-27. The Pittsburgh Pirates there sink to 22-39. And how about the Seattle Seahawks getting some NFL action talk here? Sam Darnold, this is what we love, right? You take a look and say, we're only in off-season training capacity right now in OTAs. And the quarterback's in 7-7, throws a couple interceptions. Do you think it's time to move on from the quarterback that you just paid a lot of money for? And Mike McDonald absolutely saying the right things. No, That's our quarterback. We love him. He's making great plays. He had a couple interceptions. That's why you get that out of your system on June 3rd and not on, let's just say, October the 3rd. They're not moving on from the starting quarterback because of a couple OTA sessions. That's absolute nonsense. Around the WNBA yesterday, the Fever, Lynx, and Storm get Tuesday victories. And how about this at the French Open? Carlos Alcaraz advances to the semis, and the quarterfinals continue today. So we got a great show planned for you today on the early line. And it's your boy DRS. Do I have to go 3 hours today? Is it 3 hours straight of your boy DRS? We'll certainly find out. Ben Stevens will probably be joining us shortly here, but I'm ready to go. It's Wednesday. It's a hump day. There is a lot of stuff we need to get to, and the topics that are going to be on deck, a lot of good guests as well, because we're talking NHL. It's game number 1 tonight, people. We still need to check the books here for game number 1 in the NBA tomorrow when it starts between OKC and Indiana. And more importantly, a huge Major League Baseball card tonight that we got to go over. Let's find the RBIs. Let's find the pitchers of fade. Let's find that good hitting environment. It's what we do in the early line. It's Donnie Rightside, Ben Stevens coming up next. And we'll be right back.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that ring. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple of 18.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip? Try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Right back here on the Early Line SportsGrid Network, Sirius XM Channel 159. It's your boy Donnie Rightside here talking some major components in the NBA. And most people say, like, well, wait, Donnie, that doesn't start for one more day here. Oklahoma City taking on the Indiana Pacers, and away we go. And hopefully we get 7 games here that we can talk about all the way through, have some fun and handicap those games. But understand this. Things do change quickly in the NBA. And sometimes when you think guys are going to stay for a long time, they don't. Sometimes you think guys are happy as players in a city, they're removed from that city. Tom Thibodeau fired as the New York Knicks head coach, which came as sort of a surprise. And if we take a look at that tweet once again by Shams Charania, the New York Knicks are relieving Tom Thibodeau of his duties as head coach, sources tell ESPN. Thibodeau led the Knicks to the first Eastern Conference Finals in 25 years, made the playoffs in 4 or 5 years, and led the Knicks to consecutive 50-win seasons for the first time since the 1990s. And then he comes back with a retweet there. The Knicks are singularly focused on their pursuit of a championship and believe a new voice will serve as the focus for the organization's next step, sources said. After 5 seasons with the Knicks, Tom Thibodeau is out as head coach, which is really interesting because if you look at what the Knicks, past has been, it's been a lot of futility. It's not as if they're the Los Angeles Lakers or the Boston Celtics and there's, banner after banner after banner raised with championships at Madison Square Garden. That hasn't been the case. But Tom Thibodeau now has took control of that franchise and led them to back-to-back 50-win seasons, which is the first time since Pat Riley way back in the day. Like, that's unheard of. Like the Knicks, New York City, the world's most famous arena, the mecca of basketball. You would think that they're hanging banners in the rafters every 3 to 4 years with championships. That's not the case. And Tom Thibodeau really is a calming influence and sort of steadied that franchise as they got better player and personnel on the court. Now understand this. The NBA is not a, hey, you know what? Let's just get a competition trophy. Thanks for making the playoffs, and we won a couple playoff rounds. Like expectations when you have great players, which the Knicks do have, maybe not a complete roster, but you are expected, particularly when some of the dominoes fall your direction, to sort of take advantage of that. And you might also say, too, like, Donnie, what didn't they take advantage of? They never make the Eastern Conference Finals. It's been 20 years since they've done that, and they actually made the Eastern Conference Finals. But understand this. You win 50 games in the regular season. The expectations were high because they made a couple trades here. Karl Anthony Towns comes in. Mikal Bridges comes in. And it's like, boy, that's a really good starting 5. And Thibodeau is certainly a solid head coach. Where will that lead us? Well, it did get you to 50 wins, and it got you the 3 seed overall in the Eastern Conference. Favored to beat the Pistons, and they did that 4-2. A couple close games in there, doesn't matter. They advanced. That's what they were supposed to do. Then to take on their heated rival, the Boston Celtics. Boy, the Boston Celtics, the favorites to win the NBA championship, the number 2 overall seed here in the Eastern Conference. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Kristaps Porzingis. You get the point there. A very good and well-rounded team that you were not the favorite to win. You played great basketball. You stole a couple games in Boston. Tatum ends up getting hurt, but still was going to be a 3-1 series. If Tatum didn't get injured in that game, I don't think that you were going to win 3 straight games for the Boston Celtics anyway. That's a monumental victory there for the New York Knicks in 6 games over the Boston Celtics, which then had you in the Eastern Conference Finals. And to open the show, I was talking about, you know what? How do you settle into this? Because the expectations were it probably was supposed to be the Cavaliers, and let's just say a healthy Cavaliers team, which the Knicks would not have been favored and not have had home court advantage. And that's the key here. So now you step into the Eastern Conference Finals against a Pacers team that is very good. Like the Pacers run there, beating the Bucks, beating the Cavaliers, and winding up with the Knicks here. You're still the favorites. The expectations now for the Knicks and that city and organization are, it's no longer fun that we just won 2 series. We're actually better on paper than the Indiana Pacers and the favorites. We should advance to our first championship round in the finals since the 1990s. Do you see where we're going with this? So expectations do change. Where do you think Tom Thibodeau would have gotten fired if they lost, let's just say, in 6 games to the Cleveland Cavaliers? Probably not. But the expectations were we should beat the Pacers, and the Pacers were the better team all the way through. Winning a couple games in the Garden. Even one of those games was collapsing fashion over games 1 and 2, forcing a game number 5, winning game number 5 on their home court. Not good enough to win game number 6. And a couple days go by. It's like, okay, Thibodeau's going to be back. What changes need to be made? Thibodeau likes defense, maybe plays his starters a little bit too much. But where does that lead us into the future? And as I talked about as well, usually your superstars are going to guide the franchise. It's very easy for a star to go up and say, you know what? I think changes need to be made. You know what happens in that organization? Changes are made according to what that superstar wants and the team sort of feels. Now you see Jalen Brunson at that post-game press conference after they lost in 6 games to the Pacers, and he was dumbfounded by the question that was asked to him. Should Tom Thibodeau be your head coach moving forward, and do changes need to be made? He's like, what, are you kidding me? Are you serious? Like, absolutely, this is the guy going forward. And then walks off the podium and leaves. So you figured, okay, Brunson's in his corner. The team likes him here. They got to their first Eastern Conference Finals in a long time. What's not to like? Let's build on this. The Celtics could be down next year. We don't know what the Cavaliers will be, or the Philadelphia 76ers, or if the Heat are going to rebuild themselves, or even if Giannis is going to stay in Milwaukee. Now you're saying, all right, the offseason, we have the camaraderie here. We have the team that made the Eastern Conference Finals. We're going to bring everybody back, including the coach, and hopefully that we will have a better season in 2025, 2026. But that's not the case now. Now, the issue is going to come up. Who is going to be that next head coach for the New York Knicks? A lot of people would want that job because this isn't a rebuild in New York. This is a team that they feel is built and ready to win championships, and maybe they can get a couple key pieces off of the bench and maybe a new philosophy. Because the one thing we can agree with when we watch the New York Knicks play basketball, and particularly against the Indiana Pacers, the Pacers with Rick Carlisle play a fun style. It's up-tempo. There's 5 ways to beat you out there. We can rely on the three-point shot. We don't have to rely on the three-point shot. We can rely on the fast break. We can slow it down. So many different ways to beat you in team basketball when you watch the New York Knicks, and it's not a knock. The ball slows down. It's Brunson one-on-one. Mikal Bridges gets the basketball. He's not passing that. Karl Anthony Towns, great on the offensive end, but a lot of question marks coming from that series, as in what? Does he play defense? Does he fit the scheme? Will changes have to be made? So there are some questions that come in about the Knicks, and rightfully so. But I don't think you look at Tom Thibodeau as he is the fall guy. Now, how many times during the regular season did I joke on this program right here on the early line with Ben and say, I don't get it. They're winning games. They're losing games. They're up big in games. They're down big in games. Why are the starting lineups playing 38-plus minutes every single night? And can Josh Hart ever get some time off? My goodness, that guy was playing 48 minutes a game. So maybe a change in philosophy to keep those legs as fresh as they need to be next season. But the one thing we do know today, and it is pretty shocking, Tom Thibodeau is out as the New York Knicks head coach as they look to try to get a new head coach in there. Is it a big name? Is it an up-and-comer? Is it a guy from college basketball named Jay Wright that used to be at Villanova? We'll know, hopefully shortly. But stay tuned right here on the early line. Major League Baseball, people. On deck next.
Looking for an edge in betting basketball? Injuries can make or break a game. Get insider knowledge from Dr. David Chow and the team of experts with Sick Picks at Sports Injury Central. We reveal hidden health-based advantages the sports books miss. Our doctors provide insights, and our algorithm tells you who to bet on. Spreads, props, totals, in-game bets, Sick Picks covers it all. Go to SickScore.com and sign up for Sick Picks and use the promo code SportsGrid for a free week today.
The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that ring. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of 15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
First time on a casino floor and feeling a little overwhelmed? Well, here's a tip. Lots of machines have a free demo mode you can try for practice. So give those slots a spin in practice mode before you start putting down some real cash. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's...
Major League Baseball, people get used to it. It's the early line at SiriusXM Channel 159. It's your boy, Donnie Rightside. And also, look, I told you before, we have a maximum of 7 games left in the NHL and the NBA. Yes, we have a major golf tournament next week in the U.S. Open that's going to take place. There is a major in tennis going on right now. The sports world doesn't stop, I guess, until what? around the All-Star break where a day or two is really boring. So we have plenty of things to talk about, but Major League Baseball truly does take center stage at this point and has for the past couple of days for me. Weather finally starting to turn. How many times in May? You heard my breakdowns. Like, I don't understand. It's May 23rd. It's May 25th. It's May 28th. 56 degrees, 10-mile-an-hour winds blowing in, rain in the forecast. Like, when is the switch going to happen here? And by the way, yesterday, it did happen in a lot of cities. It's nice to talk about Midwestern games in the high 70s and low 80s, which means that weather is going to come across the United States and wind up on the East Coast, which we're going to see throughout the remaining parts of this weekend. Temperatures in the high 80s and low 90s as a possibility. We love that. Why? Because that's hitting season. And talking about hitting season yesterday, in a handicap that we went over between the Kansas City Royals and the St. Louis Cardinals, I said to myself, you know what? I don't love a lot of things about this game. You take a look at Michael Lorenzen, who's not a good pitcher. That's probably a guy you want to fade. Well, how about this? 2 3/3 innings pitched for Lorenzen yesterday. 7 hits given up, 7 runs, all of them earned, which included 2 home runs. His ERA started the season nice. It now sits at a 5.12. Palante, who's one of the pitchers that I really like to start the season, who has good numbers. You know what he did yesterday? 4 1/3 innings pitched, 7 hits, 7 earned runs, and 2 home runs also. His number now elevates to 4.91. So 2 pitchers with decent statistics on the season now got hit around. Why, as we said? Wind was blowing out to left field yesterday with 80-degree temperatures and 2 questionable pitchers on the mound. And understand this, we got 17 total runs in this game. Look at the Cardinals who lost that game yesterday. 3 for 12 with runners in scoring position. And they left 10 men on base and still scored 7 times. We could have been looking at 25 runs yesterday. You take a look at the Kansas City Royals. They actually cashed in and taking advantage of guys on base. 5 of 9 with runners in scoring position. And left on base, only 5. But understand this. This team usually goes as far as that middle of the lineup is going to take you. If you were just going yesterday, guys, paint by numbers, I want to look at RBI props. Who do you look at that we talk about every single day on this network? Bobby Witt Jr. How about yesterday? 2 of 4, 4 RBI, which included a home run. How about Michael Garcia? Only had 1 hit, but that 1 hit was good enough for 2 RBI. Vinny Pasquantino in the middle of that lineup, 2 base knocks out of 5 at-bats and 2 RBI. And then there's Sal Perez there in the middle of that order. Only 1 hit, but also got an RBI. So you had 4, 6, 8, 9 RBI from your middle 4 batters. But that's not the batter that we were really talking about yesterday, as you saw with a lot of excitement. Jack Caglione coming up to Major League Baseball, a fast riser who last year was with the Florida Gators at this time. This year now, that rapid rise through AA and AAA and finds himself in Major League Baseball, a big hub to do. But yesterday, 0 for 5 at the plate. But the one thing that I do like the fact that is he didn't strike out, so he was making contact. And what do you look for like, you know what? Can he surprise? Can he hit a home run? Can he get an extra base hit? Can he get an RBI? He was actually robbed of a base hit with an unbelievable play by the center fielder yesterday in Scott. Scott, who went 0 for 4 at the plate, but made a great play. I believe he traveled 80 to 90 feet. There's a little picture of it right there, and made that catch against Jack Kaggs because that would have been his first hit and also his first extra base hit. The hits will come in that market for Jack Kaggs. Make no mistake about it. And maybe this is the shot in the arm that Kansas City needed because you bring Jack Caglione up. He actually doesn't factor into the game, but everybody else stepped their game up, as we talked about. Bobby Witt Jr., Michael Garcia, Vinny Pasquantino, Salvador Perez. That's how it's supposed to work. Adding extra bats to relieve yourself of saying, you know what? We'll be fine. And also, Jonathan India, I thought was a great move in the offseason getting him and bring him in as your leadoff guy. Do you see what he did yesterday to set the table for all those RBI shots? 3 of 5 at the plate yesterday. So you had India raking. You had Bobby Witt Jr. raking, Michael Garcia, Vinny Pasquantino, Sal Perez, and Jack Kaggs. He'll get that first base hit sooner than later and that first home run sooner than later. But the questions are, as always, well, where does he fit into the season now? Because that's a prospect that we don't expect, unless he's really bad, to be sent back down to minor league baseball. So you get the full month of June, July, August, and September to say, is there a possibility that he can win Rookie of the Year? As we take a look at the odds market there for Rookie of the Year, hack up Jacob Wilson, favorite here, minus 380 with the Athletics. He's been very good so far, but Jack Caglione, a plus 850 price right behind him. Jason Dominguez, a 17-1 price. Will Warren, so back-to-back Yankees there at 35-1, and Cam Smith of the Astros at 35-1. If you're asking me right now, like, who would you actually take? It's probably Jack Kaggs, man. Like, he's in a lineup with a baseball team that's over 500, that can maybe win a division. Maybe it is Jack Kaggs this year. More Major League Baseball next, right here on the Early Line.
Knicks really got past that playoff dragon for them that really stood in their way. So for the New York Knicks to be the Celtics and then an outright favorite to win the Eastern Conference Finals, that's where the disappointment is.
The goalposts got moved, right? Because when you went into the Celtics series, a lot of Knicks fans said they weren't going to beat it. I'll say this is more unprecedented than the 99 run when they were the 8th seed.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
No one is going to pick Indiana. No one's going to pick Indiana to make it close, honestly. Like, you could get tremendous odds if you pick OKC in 7.
I think that taking the series over 5.5 games, the last 2 NBA Finals series ended in 5. I think this one goes 6. I think the Thunder will get the job done, but I think the Pacers are just too strong of a team and too talented of a team and too deep of a team to lose in 5 or fewer games.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
Streaks are meant to be broken. Yes, they are. And the Milwaukee Brewers had a really good run, which included beating good clubs, as I should say, such as the Philadelphia Phillies. They took that win streak on the road yesterday to take on the Cincinnati Reds. The final score of that game, 4-2. Hey, another victory for the Brewers? No, it wasn't. It was a victory for the Cincinnati Reds trying to climb back over 500 in the Central Division. So a big tilt. The Brewers dropped to 33-29, but let's understand how this game also played out. Freddie Peralta was on the mound pitching for the Brewers, quality pitcher, 6 innings pitched, 7 hits, 3 earned runs given up. His ERA still sticking under 3 at a 2.92. That's a good start. You'll take that. Bullpen came in. Didn't help out all that much at this point, but the Cincinnati Reds picking up that victory. Like, Peralta was good enough to win that game. Hunter Green, here's the question we came in yesterday, right? Such a good young pitcher here. Started the season absolutely on fire and gets the dreaded hamstring injury. This was his 3rd start coming back after that hamstring injury, but it was sort of like they were taking it easy on him. Right? Let's not get you out of the 6th inning. Let's have you on a pitch count. I don't think he was really on a pitch count yesterday, but only goes 5 innings pitched, 2 earned runs, 7 strikeouts, gives up a home run. 85 total pitches, so certainly not letting him go into the 90s or close to 100 for an extra inning. The bullpen for the Cincinnati Reds, much better yesterday than the Milwaukee Brewers. Barlow, Ashcraft, Santillan, and Pagan all pitching shutouts there after helping out Hunter Green. Green ends up there. Does Green actually get the win? No, he actually didn't. Did he get the win? No, Ashcraft actually picked up the win, so when he left the game, we were still tied. And also, if you were watching this all the way through, there was a chance for the Brewers in the 9th inning, man. That final out with Pagan on the mound, that was an absolute rocket shot to center field with legitimate chance for a home run. Ends up being caught by the Cincinnati Reds, and they pick up that victory. If you take a look at the lineup there, the usual suspects. I've been a big fan of Friedel in the top of that Reds lineup. He goes 1 for 4 yesterday, now up to 304 on the season. We also take a look at Ellie De La Cruz yesterday. 1 for 2 in that game, gets 2 free trips with bases. Stevenson had a couple base knocks. Steer had a couple base knocks. But the one guy I'm looking forward to in this game, which even in a losing effort and sort of snapped that streak, was Christian Yelich. Big game yesterday, or excuse me, big game 2 days ago. Pack sat down with 2 of 4 yesterday, which included an RBI. It just wasn't good enough. The better pitching yesterday was from the Cincinnati Reds aspect here, and that's usually a hitter's ballpark, make no mistake about it, with warmer temperatures as the way it's set up. But yesterday, it was the Cincinnati Reds upending the Milwaukee Brewers. Now, if we take a look at the Brewers' season statistics now, which includes their record, 33-29 on the season. To win the NL Central, that's a pretty hefty price here at a plus 950 to try to chase down those Chicago Cubs. You take a look at the NL pennant numbers, 36-1, and the win a World Series. That is 80-1, people, for the Brewers. One of those teams that doesn't do it with a lot of excitement, but seems like on a year-to-year basis, usually very good. Council leaves them, goes over to the Cubs. We'll see how they can certainly factor through that, but that's certainly an interesting one here as well. If we take a look and continue with Major League Baseball, maybe the series back-to-back of the season so far was the Dodgers taking on the Yankees. Now the Dodgers taking on the New York Mets. And last night, returning the favor was the Los Angeles Dodgers in extra innings, picking up a victory 6-5 over the New York Mets. In that game, the starting pitchers, as we talked about yesterday, was the focus was on Clayton Kershaw. We're not expecting him to be the pitcher he was a decade and a half ago because he's been in Major League Baseball so long. But from a Dodgers perspective, just to get 5 or 6 innings out of this guy throughout the summer months, that would be an absolute positive. Kershaw on the mound yesterday, not good. 4 2/3 innings pitched, 6 hits given up, 5 runs given up, only 3 of those earned, but 3 walks and only 2 strikeouts here. So certainly not helping in. Let's get an easy victory here for the Dodgers over the Mets. Tyler McGill on the opposite side for the Mets, 6 innings pitched, 4 earned runs here. Finished with 105 pitches. His ERA now at 3.77. But the fact of this is, look, it's hard to win games against the Dodgers. Even tougher to beat them in their own building. And the Mets, who picked up that victory yesterday, looking to go for a series win, weren't able to get that. It's not really a surprise at this point as it sort of lines up, because for me, when I look at these two teams, they're going to be there at the end. Both of these teams will be playoff teams. You're just trying to gauge for where that, roster is going to be, and if you're going to make trades at the trade deadline. And also, more importantly, when you're saying to yourself, okay, East Coast versus West Coast here, can we win the division? Because it looks like the Dodgers probably will do that just based on the odds. But if the Mets can win that division, and maybe somebody can take over the Dodgers where they still make the playoffs, home field advantage will then be in your pocket. And sometimes it does come down to tiebreakers and on the head-to-head. Big win for the Dodgers yesterday. They pick it up. Runners in scoring position for the Dodgers. Not great, though. They scored 6 runs, 2 of 8. For the Mets, that was 4 of 11. Big base knocks in that lineup for the Dodgers yesterday. Mookie Betts, 2 for 5. Freddie Freeman, 2 for 5. Max Muncy, 2 for 5. And away we go. Juan Soto, by the way, yesterday, 1 of 5, but did knock in 2 base hits there with RBI. You take a look at Lindor, Marte. It's a solid lineup as it goes here. But yesterday, the Dodgers pick up that victory in extra innings against the New York Mets. San Diego and San Francisco. So many times we talk about these two teams and say, well, what's probably going to happen? Both in very good pitchers' parks here, not great hitting environments. It's almost as if you would lean on the under, and that's exactly what you could have done yesterday. The game even went to extra innings and finished 3-2 as the final. Starting pitchers in that game yesterday, Bergert, which I wasn't even sure how to pronounce the guy's name. I still don't know how to pronounce the guy's name and what he would actually do. He was pretty good yesterday. 5 innings pitched, 2 earned runs, gave up a home run, but only 2 earned runs there. You'll take that through 5 innings to keep yourself in the ballgame. For the San Francisco Giants, I'll tell you, this guy Ralph has been really good on the season so far, frustrating batters. 6 1/3 innings pitched, 4 hits, no earned runs, 5 strikeouts. His ERA now sits at 3.18, which is good. Runners in scoring position for the team that lost the game. Yeah, you can usually read by that. 1 of 6 here. Got to do better by that. But if you take a look here at the Padres, they did win the game 3-2. But how about this? Runners in scoring position for the Padres yesterday, 2 of 12, and left 13 runners on base. So I'm pretty sure their team total was at least a 3.5 yesterday. That's a frustrating loss there if you had that. But the Padres pick up the victory. Tatis 1 of 3 in that lineup. How about Manny Machado, by the way? Now hitting .315 on the season, 4 for 4 yesterday with 2 RBI. Cronenworth chips in with a base knock and also an RBI as they pick up that win in the West Coast here. 33-28 now for the San Francisco Giants. The Padres now sit at 35-24. So when we're trying to make heads or tails of the NL West, it's going to be a dogfight all season long. Just looking at the absolute standings, yes, it's going to be the Dodgers here in first place, but they're not running away with that division here. It's really competitive. The San Diego Padres, which picked up that victory yesterday and now sit winners of 3 games in a row and 7 of their last 10, 35-24, they sit a game back. The San Francisco Giants, who were really a surprise to me this season, playing good baseball, 5 games above 500 and still within striking distance of that division. Now, understand this. Do I think the San Francisco Giants are better than the Padres? No, I don't. Do I think the San Francisco Giants are better than the Los Angeles Dodgers? I don't. But there's a team behind them right now in the Arizona Diamondbacks They're 3-7 in their last 10 games, have lost their past 2 games here. They got to wake up. There is way too much talent in that Arizona Diamondbacks roster to be 2 games under 500, but it just shows you how tough that division is out on the West Coast, because the Dodgers at 37-24, most people, hey, why aren't they 50-10 at this point, which is how much talent they stacked up in the offseason. We know baseball doesn't work like that. And even the worst teams, which in their division right now, the Colorado Rockies, they actually just won their first series, which is absolutely incredible. So that whole NL West, top to bottom, not very good, because the Rockies are in it. But you want to talk about the Diamondbacks, Giants, the Padres, and the Dodgers, they're going to beat up on each other all summer long. The winner of this division certainly is going to get an award for that, and a well-deserved home field advantage in the playoffs. If you can get the top seed, then yes, you're going to be sitting there throughout these summer months here. But as you take a look at the rest of the National League, the New York Mets finally took a loss yesterday, 8-2 in their last 10 games. We'll talk about the Philadelphia Phillies in just a few moments as well, 37-23. Welcoming back Bryce Harper last night. His first at bat, he was in an 0-2 count, socked one over the right field fence, and just before that, a 2-run blast by Trey Turner. The Phillies offense was back in order. Maybe that's a good sign to come for them, but they're going to jockey for position with the New York Mets all summer long. They'll go up, they'll go down. The Phillies in first place, the Mets in second place. The only question is going to be is, are the Atlanta Braves ever going to get it together? Because they weren't good yesterday. They're usually used to losing by 1 run. They lost by multiple runs yesterday. And the Braves in their last 10 games, 3-7. The Braves losing streak, losers of 2 in a row. You got to snap that streak sooner than later. But it's Major League Baseball, and the hot topic certainly will continue right here on the early line. It's a Wednesday. It's hump day. We're getting you ready for the NHL and the NBA. It's just what we do. Come on back with us next in a few short months.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip? Try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
No one is going to pick Indiana. No one's going to pick Indiana to make it close, honestly. Like, you could get tremendous odds if you pick OKC in 7.
I think that taking the series over 5.5 games, the last 2 NBA Finals series ended in 5. I think this one goes 6. I think the Thunder will get the job done, but I think the Pacers are just too strong of a team and too talented of a team and too deep of a team to lose in 5 or fewer games.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
The Steelers' interest in Aaron Rodgers as a joke. Your boy went off about the entire situation and why it taken so long to forget him. Terry Bradshaw getting involved.
Yeah, and saying basically, what are you bringing him in for 1 year? All of this drama for 1 year at this guy, where he is now in his career, is he's washed.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
Right back out of here on the early line. It's a Wednesday morning. It's Hump Day. It's Sirius XM Channel 159. It's your boy Donnie right side, along with Mark Zinno here, joining us early, extra time. It's overtime. We're ready to go, Mark. Called into duty today. How we feeling?
DRS, you went to the bullpen.
Yeah.
You got the righty,
Yep.
and here I am. I mean, look, not many people could fill the shoes of Ben Stevens. I know I certainly can't, but I will do my best to sit alongside the immortal Donnie right side and give ourselves a good show for the next 2 hours.
That's the way we do it. You can either be Mariano Rivera, or you can be Devin Williams. You make the choice today, Mark. How are you going to close this game out? Strike three or game-losing home run? Let's get after and have some fun, because you know who's winning now? The Colorado Rockies. Two, like in dog years, right? If you go Rockies 2 wins, that's not the equivalent of like winning 9, 10, or 11 games in Major League Baseball. How about a series win for the Rockies, which if you're the Marlins, I mean, come on now. You're losing series to the Rockies. The Rockies, 2-game win streak. The Rockies win a series. Celebrate good times. Come on.
Yeah, and what's interesting here is somebody who was on the wrong side of the Miami money line last night in a parlay because, why not? The Rockies only won 2 in a row, one at a time this year.
Yep.
It's interesting to see. I thought there would have been a premium price on Miami today, in the neighborhood and this for Miami being a $2 favorite is huge, right? They're not even close. They're about minus 150 on the money line. Why? Because Cal Quantrill's on the mound. He's terrible. Cal Quantrill used to pitch in Colorado last year when they were terrible. So, and you get the Rockies' best starter in Kyle Freeland, a guy who's auditioning right now for a move out of Colorado at the trade deadline. Can you say sweep?
Crazy. I mean, you can do it here for
all
the 2 to 3 in attendance there in the stands, man. They're going to be going nuts today. You got the brooms breaking out. Maybe Colorado fans flying in from Colorado to absolutely witness history, a sweep by the Colorado Rockies, which again, the Miami Marlins have a lot of issues here. Nobody goes to the baseball games. Nobody cares. And this is a reason why they're not a good ball club and they're losing games to the Colorado Rockies. It makes sense if it doesn't make sense, if that makes sense. How about that, Mark Sino? You know what else makes sense? The Pittsburgh Pirates. Their offense stinks. It stinks every single day. Paul Skeens is a really good pitcher. He's got to throw a shutout if they have any chance to win. He didn't throw a shutout yesterday, but he went 8 innings and gave up 1 earned run, which is a solo home run. And the Pittsburgh Pirates fought back with, 0 runs. 3-0 victory for the Houston Astros. Play that same song again. And that's Paul Skeens dominating and still not getting anything for it.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Pirates had a nice little run on the West Coast against Arizona and San Diego, where their offense actually hit the ball. What they scored, I think they scored 19 runs over 2 games against Arizona out west, and then ended up beating the Padres. I think I don't know if they took 2 out of 3, but they scored a bunch of runs in the games. Anyway, regardless, apparently they're back to their old selves again of just being completely impotent on offense, and unfortunate for Skeens, but it's these kind of things where the momentum now starts to build for Skeens, who is pitching his tail off to go, what do I want to stay here for? Right? This is the problem. You can't even win the days he goes out. Even if you're only going to win 65, 68, 70 games, just win most of the games when Skeens starts, because he's pitching well enough for you to do that on a routine basis. So frustrating for Skeens, more frustrating for Pirates fans.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's the sign of things to come here. If you're not going to improve that lineup and spend some money here, you're just going to waste Paul Skeens. We'll have dominant performances, not get anything out of it here, have an under 500 record, and away you go. We'll see what happens in Pittsburgh. Bubba Chandler's supposed to get picked up there, brought up sooner than later here from the minor league system. But again, he's not a hitter. He's a pitcher here. So yeah, get more good pitching for Pittsburgh and less hitting here. But for the Philadelphia Phillies, they needed some hitting, and they needed Bryce Harper back in that lineup. They lose the final game of the series to the Atlanta Braves on that doubleheader day, which they did beat the Braves 2-1 in that series. Then get swept at home by the Milwaukee Brewers, who are certainly starting to turn their season around. But the Phillies go north of the border and tack 6 runs on in the top of the first inning yesterday against Bowden Francis and didn't look back. An 8-3 win. Harper hits a home run. Trey Turner looks like he's having a resurgence here of his career, down for the past 2 years in Philadelphia. A ton of money here, now hitting 305 and with power. The Phillies snapped that losing streak and beat the Blue Jays.
Yeah, but Bowden Francis is going to be demoted here again shortly. Yeah. He's just not pitching well at all. Every time he goes out there, he's giving up 5 runs. It's bad for him. For a guy who burst on the scene last year, towards the tail end of last year, with a high strikeout percentage and mowing guys over, whatever he did last year that showed people the book on him, they've figured him out at this point in time, because he's not going to last much longer at this point. But we know the Phillies can mash, and that's kind of what their whole lineup is about right now. As long as they continue to put up runs, they're going to end up being there. Whether they win the division and overtake the Mets is a whole different conversation, but still, this is a team here that you have to be very worried about going forward.
Yeah, needed that victory, got that victory. We'll see what happens today when they take on Toronto once again. We'll handicap that a little bit later in the show. Other big news out there, Corbin Burns, 15 days to the IL with an elbow injury for the Diamondbacks. Never a good sign there, Mark, when a starting pitcher goes down with elbow issues. No word yet on what it actually is, but I do think they're being cautiously optimistic here as opposed to Smith-Shawver for the Braves. It's like, yeah, he heard a pop, and the next day, yeah, he's done for the year.
I mean, for the Diamondbacks right now, for as bad as they've been, this is like the worst set of news you could get, right? I mean, they're already 7.5 games out of first. They've just been hovering below 500 for a better part of the year. The Giants, as you mentioned earlier, have surprised a lot of people with how well they've pitched and keeping them in games. And now all of a sudden you're sitting in fourth in the NL West, and that's not a good place to be and lose your best starter, the guy you paid all this money to this past off season. So, yeah, I mean, it doesn't look good for the Diamondbacks. They have to hope that this injury isn't long-term and serious.
No, I don't think. Hopefully, it's not here. Certainly for their sake at that point here. Other news with pitchers here. Hey, celebrate! Devin Williams got a save yesterday for the New York Yankees, Mark, but he also gave up 2 base hits and an earned run to still get the save. But the Yankees survived 3-2 over the Guardians. ERA 6.35. Guy can't even get it done. What happened? What happened to Devin?
Well, it's funny because when the Yankees signed him, I had a lot of Brewers fans in my mentions telling me, be careful what you wish for. Good luck. Remember, this is the guy who gave up the home run to Pete Alonso in the playoffs that extended the Mets playoffs. And look, he's not that good. I mean, there's no way around it. I mean, he's got good stuff, but it's got to be between the ears or he can't figure it all out. But nonetheless, Devin Williams is not a closer for the Yankees. It's Luke Weaver's job. It should stay his job, and figure out what you could do with the guy to get him some innings and make sure his contract isn't completely wasted.
Devin Williams, big money over there for the New York Yankees, and also Weaver down there on the IL with that dreaded hamstring injury. You know what else isn't good? A uniform combination put out by an NBA team. Surprise! We'll talk about it next.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip? Try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
No one is going to pick Indiana. No one's going to pick Indiana to make it close, honestly. Like, you could get tremendous odds if you pick OKC in 7.
I think that taking the series over 5.5 games, the last 2 NBA Finals series ended in 5. I think this one goes 6. I think the Thunder will get the job done, but I think the Pacers are just too strong of a team and too talented of a team and too deep of a team to lose in 5 or fewer games.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
The Steelers' interest in Aaron Rodgers as a joke. Your boy went off about the entire situation and why it's taken so long to forget him. Terry Bradshaw getting involved.
Yeah, and saying basically, what are you bringing him in for 1 year? All of this drama for 1 year at this guy, where he is now in his career is he's washed.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
Fashionistas, that's what we are sometimes here on the early line. It's the way we get down. We like to be truthful. Sometimes it is all about the swag that you wear on the court, on the football field, wherever you are playing your sport here. Look good, feel good is the way we do it. And Mark Zinno, yesterday we had an announcement. I love when teams change uniforms, give you updates, and ask for the public's opinion before crowdsourcing them out and saying, like, ooh, maybe that wasn't a good idea. Case in point, last year, we all laughed at the New York Giants with one of the more hideous combinations of uniform you can have for a hideous team. And it makes me think sometimes, what do we actually think the public is going to buy into? Now, understand this. The public typically likes nostalgia that they are used to, i.e., we used to wear this jersey 10 to 15 years ago, and we're bringing it back. So most of your fan base go, oh, I remember that jersey, and it was a cool jersey. The Giants reached back to when nobody remembered the jersey and brought back a hideous one, and everybody laughed at it, which included their first-round draft pick, Malik Neighbors. Like, you know what? Maybe I don't even want to play on this football team because this jersey is so bad. Where did I get drafted into? But the Orlando Magic are reaching back, Mark, into the 1990s when they began and said, you know what? Let's bring back sort of the Shaquille O'Neal, Penny Hardaway days here. As you see the picture on the screen, and look at that. 3 different jerseys, pinstriped here. I don't know what the first jersey's doing, but your take, before I give my take on the Orlando Magic's jersey combinations that they're looking to get back to.
The only thing they're missing is those shorts about 6 inches longer, because then it would really be 90s style. But other than that, they look great. I mean, it's a nice combo right there. Gotta love the white pinstripe. That one's kind of fresh, as the kids like to say. I like it.
Now, you like it. I'm disappointed here because the one thing I don't like is the pinstripes. Pinstripe, like outside of the Yankees are allowed to use pinstripes because that's what they do. If you are the Magic, there was a reason, Mark, that you went away from the pinstripe. And you tried so many different combinations of the pinstripe since the late 1980s and early 1990s. The original jerseys, okay, if you want to stick with that, that's our game plan, I get it. They went away with the pinstripe here in the late 1990s and early 2000s. They didn't get the pinstripe back till 2008, tried to rework it in, and then took it away again, then brought it back, Mark, then took it away again, and are now bringing it back here. So I don't know if it's a diversion, like, we're not a good franchise overall. Hey, we got Paolo Banchero. Maybe we'll sell more jerseys. Maybe we'll go back to the Shaq days. I understand that. But there is a reason, Mark, where they went, like the famous Office, snip, snap, snip, snap, snip, snap, snip, snap, and it hurts. Like, stop the madness. You went with it, went away, went with it, went away, went with it, went away, went with it again. Knock it off. The pinstripe doesn't belong on a basketball jersey. I'm sorry.
Now that you mentioned, I've Googled the history of the Magic uniforms, and you are correct.
Yes.
They had it, then they went away, then they went back, then they went away, and now it's back again. Yeah, if you were going, I suppose from that prism, you didn't really do anything new. You did the same thing that you've always done.
Yes.
But they are hopeful that this new younger NBA crowd has never seen those older uniforms before and didn't know that they didn't have pinstripes, because that's the only plan they came here using. It's generational. Every 20 years, we just put pinstripes on. 20 years later, take them off. 20 years later, put them back on. We got a whole new fan base. So, yeah. I like the white ones. They look good.
Like, I'll buy the white ones there. I will. Like, the third option, I don't like all that much. But, like, you hit on the exact topic, which I get frustrated with. If it was like, hey, our first 10 years, we were in the stripes here. We haven't seen those in 30 years. We're bringing them back. I'm like, that's something cool. But you're right. All you need is a simple Google search and say, Orlando Magic's previous uniforms. And it's back and forth like, hey, revolutionary, we're bringing the stripes back. And we just had those. So we're bringing it back again after a couple years. But, Mark, your point is dead on. Like, we might be good now, and we were bad for a long time. So if we bring this back, people are like, oh, man, that's the Shaquille O'Neal days. No, it's not. It's the days of 2018 and the days of 2017 and the days of 2014 and the days of 2010 and the days of 08 here. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't go away from anything. Like, we're not just bringing it back like, hey, the Philadelphia Eagles, it's been 30 years since we wore the Kelly Greens. Let's bring them back. Wow, that's a cool jersey. Like, if you only wore them during the Shaquille O'Neal era and you're bringing them back now, I can buy into that much more. But the fact that you had them like 17 different iterations of that jersey, I can't buy back in as this is some cool look we've never seen before. We've seen it a ton with the Magic.
Yeah, again, I'm with you. The quick Google search sort of changed I look at them like, oh, yeah, I remember those. Those are the cool days. And you mentioned Penny Hardaway and Shaq, right? Those are the ones that they got to the finals against, right? Even Dwight Howard was wearing those a little bit. And then you start thinking about it like, yeah, they have done that a couple of times before, now that you mention it. So it kind of lost its luster. You ruined it for me.
Revolutionary. You know what else would be nice to do, Mark? I think you agree. The New York Yankees put the name on the jersey at home, right? I mean, put the name on the back of the jersey at home. It's the only way you're supposed to do it. Half the kids don't even know who's batting for the Yankees. Is that Judge? I can't tell. It doesn't say his name at that point. Hour number 2's next. Let's go.